You will probably never walk through a set of physical glass doors into a building called a crypto exchange.
Right. Definitely not.
Because when we talk about traditional finance, there is usually a very tangible place you can point to, you know. You picture a massive stone building with thick pillars.
Or a chaotic trading floor with people just shouting over each other.
Exactly. But the moment you step into the world of digital assets, that physical architecture just vanishes.
It's completely invisible.
Yet that invisible building is exactly where millions of people are putting their real, hard-earned money. So, welcome back to another deep dive in our Crypto Beyond the Hype series.
So glad to be here.
Our mission is always the same, to keep things simple, practical, and grounded for everyday people like you. And today's focus, well, it's the front door of the crypto world.
And see, I think it really is the perfect place to start because looking at the research, what we're seeing is that simple curiosity about digital money is rapidly turning into real-world action.
Right, people are actually making the leap.
Exactly. People hear about these assets at a dinner party or on the news, and the very next thought is, okay, but how do I actually get my hands on it?
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because understanding these platforms is the crucial first step. The bridge between just hearing about Bitcoin or stable coins and actually participating safely.
Absolutely.
To start us off, I was trying to visualize what an exchange actually is. My first thought was the currency counter at an airport.
Aha, okay.
You know, the one you walk up with rupees or dollars, you hand it over to the person behind the glass, get a different currency for your trip. But is that actually accurate?
Well,
Because an airport counter holds physical cash in a drawer. Is a crypto exchange holding all this Bitcoin in a digital drawer somewhere? Or is it just a software middleman?
I tell you what, that is a brilliant distinction to make right away. The airport counter analogy, it only gets you halfway there.
Oh.
An exchange is certainly the place where you convert one form of value into another, but mechanistically, it operates much more like an air traffic controller.
An air traffic controller.
Yes, actually. It is a massive, highly complex matching engine. When you log in and say, I want to buy $500 worth of Ethereum, the exchange doesn't necessarily pull that from its own private stash to sell to you.
Wait, really? So what is it actually doing in that moment?
What's fascinating here is that it's looking at something called an order book. It instantly scans millions of other users.
Oh, wow.
Right. It scans to find someone somewhere who is saying, I want to sell $500 worth of Ethereum at this exact price.
So it's just connecting people.
Exactly. In a fraction of a millisecond, the exchange matches your buy request with their sell request. It executes the trade, updates both of your balances, and takes a tiny cut for arranging the meeting.
That paints a much clearer picture. So it is a dynamic marketplace, not just a static shop.
7%. It is constantly coordinating this massive digital dance between buyers and sellers globally.
And I suppose that explains why they had to be invented in the first place. Because before these platforms existed, how on earth did anyone buy digital assets? It wasn't exactly a walk in the park, was it?
Not at all. I mean, without exchanges, this technology would have remained entirely stuck in the hands of highly technical early adopters.
The computer science crowds.
Exactly. We are talking about the days when trading meant wiring money to a total stranger you met on an obscure niche internet message board.
That sounds completely terrifying.
It was. You had to trust them to send the digital asset to your complex encryption key. It was risky, incredibly slow, and completely inaccessible for a beginner.
Because the average person does not begin their day with a secure digital wallet, right? They begin with money sitting in a traditional bank account.
Exactly. So the exchanges stepped in to build the vital bridge between the traditional banking system you already know and this entirely unfamiliar digital environment.
They basically hid all the scary stuff.
Yes, they hid all that terrifying code and made broad participation possible for everyone.
Which brings up a really fascinating, but perhaps slightly dangerous psychological trap for us as everyday users.
Oh, so?
Well, because these platforms function as this easy-to-use service layer, they create a very powerful illusion of familiarity. Think about how we actually interact with these platforms today.
Right, on our phones mostly.
Exactly. I download an app, it has a beautiful dark mode, it asks for my Face ID to log in, it sends me smooth push notifications.
And the colorful charts.
Yes. It shows my balance in a neat little colorful pie chart.
Mm-hmm.
So automatically, my brain places that app in the exact same mental category as my safe, heavily regulated banking app.
And that is precisely the danger we see highlighted across all the regulatory reports we are looking at. It is incredibly easy to let slick design shape our trust.
Because it looks professional.
Exactly. But the reality check here is that a crypto exchange is fundamentally not a bank. The differences are not just minor details, they are stark structural differences.
See, let's break those differences down. Because
Mhm.
to me, if I can check my balance and withdraw cash to pay my rent, it feels like a bank.
I completely understand why it feels that way. But think about the foundation of a traditional bank. It operates within a highly structured, decades-old financial system.
Like with the government watching.
Right. If you deposit your money in a local bank, there are government-backed safety nets. Depending on where you live, there's usually some form of deposit insurance.
Right. So if the bank gets robbed, I don't lose my savings.
Exactly. There are long...
This is such a vital takeaway for you listening right now. Just because a platform shares the exact same polished look as your everyday banking app, it is not simply a bank with a different logo.
No, it's really not.
We have to separate the shiny user interface from the actual legal reality.
Which leads us to a crucial concept, how your assets are actually held. This is where the illusion of ownership really becomes apparent.
Okay, I'm listening.
When you buy a digital asset on most major platforms, you are using what is called a centralized exchange.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Because whenever we talk about centralized platforms going bankrupt or freezing funds, my immediate thought as a listener is, great. If centralized is so risky, point me to the decentralized ones.
Ah, the decentralized exchange.
Right, because isn't the whole point of crypto to be decentralized? Why aren't we all just using those?
It is a totally fair question. And you are right, decentralized exchanges, or DX as they're called, do exist. But let's look at how they work, and you will quickly see why they aren't the front door for most people. See, a decentralized exchange has no central company running it. There is no customer service desk. There's no CEO. Instead, it relies on something called smart contracts.
Wait, let's make sure we don't lose anyone here. When you say smart contract, are we talking about like a digital legal document that I have to sign?
No, not at all. Think of a smart contract like a digital vending machine.
A vending machine. Okay.
Right. With a physical vending machine, you put in a coin, you press a button, and the machine automatically dispenses a soda. There is no cashier standing inside the machine evaluating your purchase, right?
Right. The mechanics just execute the trade automatically.
Exactly, based
So-
on a set of rules. A smart contract is just computer code on the blockchain that acts exactly like that vending machine. If you send token A into the code, it automatically sends token B back to your personal digital wallet.
That actually sounds amazing. No middleman, no corporate executives taking a cut or freezing my account. So why is everyone still using the centralized corporate apps?
Friction. Massive, intimidating friction. Oh, absolutely. To use that decentralized vending machine, you can't just log in with an email and a password. You have to create your own independent digital wallet.
Okay.
And then you have to write down a complex 12 to 24-word recovery phrase. And if you lose that piece of paper, your money is gone forever.
Oh, wow. So there's no forgot password link?
None.
Yeah.
No one can reset it for you. You also have to pay unpredictable network fees, often called gas fees, just to interact with the code.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. For someone just looking to buy $50 of Bitcoin for the first time, that level of technical responsibility is completely terrifying.
Which brings us right back to why the centralized platforms are so
Yeah.
popular. They remove all that friction. You don't have to manage encryption keys on day one. You just create a password and you are in.
Exactly.
But it feels like this convenience is breeding a massive amount of complacency. I mean, signing up and buying an asset today is as easy as ordering food on your phone
Right?
or topping up a ride-sharing app.
Yes, the user experience is incredibly smooth.
But in doing so, are we forgetting that we are dealing with our life savings?
That is the hidden trap. Convenience quietly turns into complacency. When the user experience is totally frictionless, we naturally stop asking practical questions.
Like what?
Well, when dealing with a centralized exchange, you have to ask who actually controls the access to these assets.
Let me offer an analogy here because I want to make sure I am grasping the reality of centralized ownership.
Please.
Is it sort of like a coat check at a restaurant? I hand over my expensive winter jacket, and the attendant gives me a little numbered ticket.
Yes. Okay.
While I'm eating dinner, I feel like I still own the jacket.
Mm.
But functionally, all I hold is a piece of paper. If the building catches fire or the attendant decides to just run away with all the coats, that little paper ticket is completely worthless. I don't have the jacket.
I tell you what, that is an exceptionally accurate analogy. When you look at your balance on a centralized exchange app, you're basically looking at your coat check ticket.
Just an IOU.
Exactly. What you really own is an IOU from the exchange company. They are holding the actual cryptographic keys, the physical coat in your analogy on your behalf, in their massive digital vaults.
So, if the exchange runs into financial trouble, or gets sued, or goes bankrupt, what happens to my coat?
Based on several recent high-profile bankruptcies in the space, we know exactly what happens. You don't just get to walk in and take your assets back.
Wait, really? Even if my app says I have $10,000?
Even then, legally, you are often classified as an unsecured creditor.
Unsecured creditor. That sounds like legal jargon for you are at the very back of the line.
That is exactly what it means. It means you are at the back of a very long line of lawyers, institutional investors, and tax authorities, all trying to get their money out of a sinking ship.
So I might not get it back.
You might get a fraction of your funds back years later, or you might get absolutely nothing. This is why we say you must make a mental shift. Enjoy the convenience of the platform, but never let that convenience replace your awareness of the structural risk. You are handing custody of your wealth to a third party.
Use convenience, but don't let it replace awareness. I think that makes a lot of sense.
It's the golden rule here.
So, if these centralized platforms are doing all this heavy lifting, matching millions of trades, building these beautiful apps, securing the digital vaults, how are they making money?
Ah, the million-dollar question.
Because they certainly aren't doing it as a public charity.
Yeah.
If we are handing over our trust, are we also paying a premium for this convenience without even realizing it?
You absolutely are. And this is a major area where everyday users get caught off guard. When you use an exchange, you are entering a complex fee structure.
Like withdrawal fees.
Yes, sometimes those fees are completely transparent. They might say, we charge a flat $2 fee to withdraw your funds. That is easy to understand.
Right, I can see that on my screen.
But very often, the true cost of participation is buried in something called the spread.
The spread. Okay, let's break down the mechanics of that. How does the spread silently take money out of my pocket?
Let's use a very straightforward example. Imagine the global underlying market price for a specific digital coin is exactly $100.
Okay, $100.
If you go onto your exchange app and hit buy, the exchange might charge you $102 for that coin.
So they marked it up by $2.
Precisely. And if you immediately turn around and hit sell, they might only offer to buy it back from you at $98.
Oh, I see.
That $4 difference between the buying price and the selling price is the spread. The exchange, acting as the market maker, pockets that difference.
Wow. So it doesn't look like a formal fee on your receipt.
Exactly, but it is absolutely a cost you are paying.
So if I deposit $100 and buy an asset, my portfolio might immediately drop to $96 worth of actual value just from the friction of the trade.
Yes, exactly. The exchange itself is a toll booth. If you don't pay attention, those hidden spreads and conversion charges add up remarkably fast, especially if you are trading frequently.
That's incredible.
You have to remember that you aren't just buying an investment, you are paying a toll to cross their bridge.
Which naturally makes me wonder who is watching the toll booth.
Good question.
I mean, if these platforms are holding billions of dollars in IOUs and quietly skimming fees through spreads, it begs the question of oversight. Are there regulators looking at this code, or are we just operating in the Wild West?
Well, the landscape is shifting dramatically right now. If we connect all of this to the bigger picture, regulation isn't just boring background paperwork.
Right.
Regulation actively shapes the environment of trust. An exchange operating in a highly regulated jurisdiction is going to face incredibly strict expectations.
Like what kind of expectations?
They will have to submit to independent audits to prove they actually have the reserves they claim to hold. Basically, proving the coat check actually has the coats.
And I imagine they also have to prove exactly who is using their platform, right, to prevent illegal activity.
Exactly. That is called KYC, or Know Your Customer. It requires the exchange to collect your government ID, verify your address, and monitor transactions for money laundering.
Which, as a user, can feel incredibly annoying.
Oh, it's very annoying.
When you just want to set up an account on a Saturday afternoon, taking photos of your passport feels like a massive hassle.
It does feel like a hassle. But that friction is a vital sign of safety. A lightly governed offshore platform might let you sign up in 10 seconds with just an email address and trade completely anonymously.
Sounds fast.
That speed feels great, but it comes with a massive increase in systemic risk. If they don't care who you are, they probably don't care much about compliance. which means your money is resting on a very shaky foundation.
Regulation changes the baseline of seriousness.
Set percent.
And looking at it from a broader perspective, it feels like these exchanges carry a huge responsibility, not just to their immediate users, but to the entire concept of digital assets.
I completely agree.
Because they're the main point of contact for ordinary people, they literally shape the public narrative of what crypto actually is.
They absolutely hold the pen on the public story. For millions of people, the exchange experience is the crypto experience. If a user downloads an app, finds the fees transparent, gets great customer support, and feels secure, they walk away telling their friends that digital assets are a practical, modern evolution of finance.
But if they face frozen accounts, hidden spreads that eat their deposits, and customer service bots that never resolve their issues,
Then they tell everyone they know that the entire industry is a chaotic, untrustworthy scam.
it's all about first impressions.
Yes. The exchanges hold incredible power. They are the visible face of a technology that is, by its very nature, invisible.
It is quite something when you pause to think about it. The original technology was built to be this decentralized peer-to-peer network, free from corporate control.
Yes, that was the dream.
But its mainstream reputation now rests almost entirely on the shoulders of these massive centralized corporate platforms.
That is the great irony we are living through right now in this space.
All right, let's bring this all together. If you are listening and taking notes, here are the core takeaways from the research we unpacked today.
Let's hear them.
First, crypto exchanges are the essential entry points, the front doors that turn your traditional local currency into digital assets through massive, complex matching engines.
Right.
Second, remember the coat check. A beautiful, polished app design does not equal a traditional bank. When you use a centralized exchange, you are holding an IOU, not the asset itself.
Very important point.
Third, understand the toll booth. Pay close attention to the spread and the hidden costs of convenience.
Exactly.
And finally, when you are deciding where to begin your journey, seek out the friction of regulation. Safety and transparency matter far more than hype or a quick sign-up process.
Those are the crucial pillars to keep in mind. And as we wrap up our discussion, I want to leave you with one final, slightly provocative thought to just sit back and mull over.
Oh, I love these. Go ahead.
The entire original philosophy behind this technology, the whole reason the blockchain was conceptualized, was to give ordinary individuals independent, sovereign control over their own money.
Right, getting rid of the middleman.
Exactly. It was explicitly designed to remove middlemen and banks from the equation. So, looking at where we are today, what does it truly mean that our primary way of accessing this revolutionary decentralized world is by handing our trust, our identity, and our money right back over to these massive centralized corporate entities?
Wow.
Are we actually creating a new financial system, or are we just rebuilding the traditional banking system all over again, just with different names on the buildings?
A new system or just new middlemen. That's the real crux of it, isn't it? We are told we are escaping the banks only to build new ones. It gives us a lot to think about.
It really does.
I tell you what, that is exactly why we love doing this series, to help you look past the shiny marketing and ask the real structural questions. As always, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Our best advice moving forward is simply to stay curious, but always stay careful. Take a step back, look at the mechanics, and don't rush into anything you don't fully understand. If this conversation helped make the front door of crypto a bit clearer for you, please do share this with a friend who is just starting to look into digital assets and drop a comment letting us know what topic you want us to explore next. We are all figuring out this changing digital world together, step by step. Until next time, take care.